Hey guys, it's HK here over at the Mos Eisley Cantina. Just coming to you to kind of talk Leviathan requirements. I saw a lot of things a couple weeks ago when these requirements got announced originally, and I just kind of wanted to sit down, think about it, really solidify my ideas around it. And I ended up kind of finding that I did have the same ideas as when they first got announced. With the R9s, and the fact that everyone was talking about, like, oh, there's so many R9s, there's so many R7s, the requirements are crazy. I think it's something like 63 odd relics or something like that, which can literally get you like a GL and then some extra, depending on the GL you're getting. So it's very relic intensive. However, the characters are asking you to relic, I really don't feel like for the most part, outside of two, which we'll touch on, are that big of a deal. And with the new Datacrons that just came out that we'll have for the next, I think it's what, 6 months that those last for or something like that. Um, I mean, even Maul won't be half bad, but we'll start with the R9s. So R9s, I mean, having an R9 Revan will be good because it's going to boost that speed on your Leviathan. So it's really not as bad as what people might anticipate that it was originally, because most people who have fleets anyways, I mean, if you go look through most people's fleet charts, they're going to have R9s. So for their fleet commanders, so like Piets, Kenobis, like stuff like that to help amp up your speed a little bit and really get you there. So I feel like people saying that Revan R9 is stupid, even though they would get R9 Revan anyways. So that's kind of how I felt about that. And Malik being at R9 is probably the best requirement in all of it because R9 Malik is hard to deal with. I mean, even my Malik right now, I have him at Relic 3, and I'm still at, 136,000 protection and 42,000 health. So when you look at this, I mean, that's about 200,000 total health and protection, which means that Malik is going to have all that as health. So when you look at the numbers, I mean, you're looking at a character that's going to be incredibly tanky post that buff, especially with that 15% Datacron that just came out for the 15% max health and protection. So Malik with these requirements and with the Datacron is going to be incredibly annoying to deal with. So that's kind of my thoughts on the R9 characters. I think Revan people are upset about just because it says R9, even though they were going to do it anyways. And then Malik, I feel like it's just a reason to get a character to R9 that you should already have at R9. We'll drop down to 7 now. So R7s, we're looking at Maul, Sith Trooper, HK, Sith Trooper, First Order version, and then Bastila Shan. So Maul and HK are the two biggest outliers here, in my opinion. I think Maul and HK are kind of the worst requirements. Maul, I mean, we might use his ship with Leviathan, so we'll see overall. But, I mean, having him at Relic 7, I mean, there's not a whole lot in the game that he's doing for you. I use him at Relic 4 and Conquest to help get some of the stealth and evasion stuff, but outside of that, it's just not that great. And he doesn't really have a home right now. Granted, he does have that Datacron that should help him out a little bit, but it's just not quite as strong, or he doesn't really have a home, or he is as strong as he could be, I think, which is kind of sad. I think they should rework him, but they probably won't now that everybody's going to have him R7. At least those of us that are going for the Leviathan. Sith Trooper, really good solid tank, not much to say outside of that. Not a bad requirement. Of course, having your tanks at higher relics is typically better. Your supports, a lot of people don't like carrying them that high, which we'll kind of touch on when we get to Bastila. But I mean, tanks, attackers, getting them R7 isn't that big. It isn't that bad of a deal. And then HK is one of the other characters that I wanted to talk about, kind of being one of those stick in the mud characters, you might say, kind of like Maul. HK doesn't really have a home right now. Yeah, he's good in Sith Empire, but I'd rather run Marauder, or I'd rather plug in Talon instead, or I'd rather, run a couple different things. So having HK at Relic 7 kind of hurts. He doesn't have a ship, he doesn't really do a whole lot outside of just be a character that's Relic 7. So, I mean, he's, in my opinion, the biggest waste of investment in all of this. And then Sith Trooper, of course, being at Relic 7. This is a double whammy. It'll help you kind of set up a little bit, get one of your characters done for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So if you're wanting to go for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, or you already have him, you should have your Sith Trooper. I believe it's R5 for that requirement. So you're only 2 relics off. It's not too bad. And then it just gives you, his ship, TIE Dagger. It's going to be part of the Leviathan fleet. So having him up at, 7, relic 7 is just going to make him faster in fleets. And so it really shouldn't be that bad. And plus, he's an awesome character. He does a ton of damage. You can put him on a Sith team. You can put him on a First Order team. I really don't think that he's a bad requirement either. But so there's that. And Bastila Shan. Bastila being a character that a lot of people don't want to have to relic. She isn't necessarily your highest damage dealer. She's there for support reasons and a couple other things. But I think people come to issue with Bastila because she's a Relic 7. And where I kind of hold this opinion and why I don't think it's that bad is because of the new Krayt Dragon Raid. Old Republic can get the 2.7 million at Relic 8. So I was planning on doing it anyways outside of these requirements. So the fact that she is a requirement anyways was kind of nice for me, but I could see how people that don't want to make that large of an investment, or they're working on other stuff that aren't just the raid, it could be discrepancy. I personally, that's my favorite part of the game is the raid, so I'll have multiple teams I can do 2.7 mil if I can, and so this was the easiest team for me at the time, so it kind of just doubled up. But the other thing behind that too is having Bastila up at Relic 7. I mean, if you're doing her Zeta lead with the Watt and JML, I mean, it's just going to be even more annoying to chew through her because I don't know, for newer players or players that just aren't in the know, the way percent max health protection the way protection up works. Like the buff, is based off percent max health. So if you have a character that has higher max health, that protection up that you get at the beginning of battle, that 200% protection, is taking off your health. So it's just going to make her harder to chew through. Of course, that's easily countered by C, but if you aren't a roster with Sith Eternal, then not as strong. So just something to keep in mind. And then R5 Sith Assassin and R5 Shorty. Sith Assassin, I heard my guild members were talking about it. Sith Assassin is really good with Darth Malgus. It's one of those characters that you can sub in for Talon, and you can put Talon with your Traya team, and then it's going to really kind of solidify your Malgus team. It's going to make it a lot harder to deal with. And I've heard people say, yeah, I can deal with the Talon version of it, but the Sith Assassin I still can't figure it out. So it's just going to make a team with a character that's pseudo required, right? Because if we go and we'll look at the ships in a second here, but it's a character that's pseudo required for this event, having Malgus up. So having Sith Assassin at R5 to plug into your Malgus squad, really not that bad. And of course, these two up here, Revan and Malik, also will be on that squad. So it'll kind of give you another avenue of opportunity for you to mess around with your Revan squad. And then one of the other characters I saw a lot of people complaining about was Shorty. And that's just because they're like, why is she required? She makes no sense. Is she even good? Shorty's a monster. There's a General Grievous team that you can plug her into where she just revives your droids over and over again. And then it just continues to feed Grievous turns. So this gave me an excuse to work on Shorty that I wasn't expecting to have. So I'm very, very happy with it. Just again, it's you got to look at the bright side on some of these. These two suck, but the rest of them are going to be pretty solid. They're going to, a solid backbone team like your Malgus squad with Revan and Malik. I mean, there's Sith Assassin that you can plug right in there. Bastila Shan's going to help you get better raid scores if you're investing in that Old Republic team. So, are the requirements as bad as people think? I don't think so, but that's just my personal opinion. And so from here, we're going to kind of transition in the second half of this video, which is going to be whether or not you should go for the Leviathan at all. And the question is being, ultimately, do you have Darth Malgus, and are you getting the Sith Interceptor, this one here, the Fury Class Interceptor? So I am evidently not this conquest, but next two conquests I should have enough shards, I think, because I'll get up to right around 230 shards, and then so I buy the pass every time, so buying more passes and buying all the shards through the store, I should get it in the next 2, maybe 3 conquests. But kind of my point of talking about this is if you don't have Malgus and you aren't getting Fairy Class, do not farm Leviathan. It's not gonna be for you. Versus like if you're one of these people that you have Fury Class after this conquest, you have Malgus, you have a lot of these requirements already. Mine evidently aren't the best. I'm gonna have to do some work on them, but I mean it'll be just a slow grind, getting all these shards, getting there. And then by about the time I hopefully have this unlocked, I'll have, some of these ships 7 stars, and I'll be close to a couple other ones. And of course, Ebon Hawk is going to be something that I haven't farmed at all. So it'll be something that I personally have to work on quite a bit. But if your ships are looking like mine, I mean, you probably won't get Leviathan first, maybe even second, but probably third, fourth time around. And of course, with if you aren't getting Fury Class, don't even stress. Go, farm some of your backbone teams, farm some of your auxiliary teams. Go check out AP Gaines' channel. He has a lot of stuff regarding that kind of thing that can really help you diversify your roster and get you some pretty solid teams. And then, but yeah, so if you aren't kind of around this area where you are getting Fury Class somewhat soon, and you have a lot of your ships that you can work on. Sorry about the background noise. My dog decided to play with the ball. Then don't stress about it. Just get some star killers, get your Afras, maybe go after a GL. Don't have Java yet? Get Java. It's gonna help your guild. Don't freak out about Leviathan yet. Farm your Profundity if you don't have it. Farm your Executor. There's other options out there that will help you a lot. This ship will be meta defining, as they've said. We'll see what that looks like when the kit gets revealed. But as of right now, honestly, I feel like personally the requirements aren't as bad as a lot of people think they are. And it's really kind of more of a just catching up on shards thing for what a lot of people will be. I mean, the sheer number of relics is difficult, but I mean, you're going to be giving yourself, a super solid Sith squad with the Malgus, Revan, Darth Malak, and then, Sith Assassin, and then just plug in Fallen Bastila, give her some relics and stuff like that on the side, because, it's a core backbone team. But having, some of these other stuff, I mean, Sith Trooper, you can plug it into a C team if you have it. Sith Empire Trooper is a good tank to run with Darth Traya. Although there's another team with Traya that you might want to run instead, but that's not here nor there as of right now. But yeah, so are the requirements as bad as what I think people were saying on Reddit and stuff like that? No. Are there some benefits if you kind of had a specific focus regarding the raids in the fact that Bastila is needed? Yes. Does getting Revan R9, is that as big a deal as people are really whining about? No. They were going to do it anyways. So that's my 2 cents. But anyways, guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe. And remember, if you don't, I'll just have to put a bounty on your head. You guys have a good one.